Hi guys! Welcome to Science 4. For today's lesson, we're going to describe the changes in properties of materials when exposed to certain conditions. Come on, let's have fun while learning. Take a look at these different pictures. What can you say about the temperature of this material when it is heated or cold? Very good! These materials, when heated, its temperature increased, but when the material is cold, its temperature decreased. That's why some of them will melted and some of them will turns into liquid paste. Let's start our lesson by reading this short story. It was entitled Marina and Her Ice Candy. It was written by Zarina Hunyo. It's a sunny day. Marina bought an ice candy. She was happy and very much excited. She went in the garden to eat her ice candy, but suddenly her mom called her inside the house. Marina left her ice candy in the garden. When she came back, she was shocked and then she cried. What do you think happened in this short story? Very good. Why does the ice candy melted? That's right. What is the weather on that day? Very good. What is the reason why the ice candy melted? Very good. If you were Marina, are you going to do the same? That's right. So what should you do with your ice candy in order for it to be not melted? Correct. To better understand our lesson, we have here an activity. It was entitled, What happens to the properties of materials when exposed to certain conditions? You're going to discuss it by your group mates. For group 1, you're going to discuss the changes happen in freezing. For group 2, you're going to discuss the changes happen in melting. For group 3, you're going to discuss the changes happen in evaporation. Group 4, all about condensation. Group 5, it's all about sublimation. And for group 6, you're going to discuss the changes happen in deposition. Observe what happened to the pictures, okay? So are you ready? You may begin. Now, it's time for you to present your work. Come on, you can do it. To better understand the concept of our lesson, let me tell you first the meaning of temperature. So when we say temperature, it is measurement of the amount of heat energy present in the surroundings. Another one, it is the hotness and coldness of an object. The changes in physical properties of materials when exposed to certain conditions such as temperature will cause physical changes. It also undergoes different processes such as freezing, melting, evaporation, condensation, sublimation, and deposition. So I will discuss it one by one. And then later on, let's find out if you are correct with the topic that you have discussed a while ago. Okay? Let's begin with number 1, freezing. It also called solidification. When you say freezing, it is turning liquid to solid. This happens when liquid turns to solid. Have you tried to put liquid inside the freezer of your refrigerator at home? Just like in this picture? Okay. Did you know that these ice are originally liquid? They become solid when placed in a freezer. The freezing point of water is 0 degrees Celsius. Another example of freezing are ice cream, ice candy, and popsicles. When you say melting, it is turning solid to liquid. It is the complete opposite of solidification or freezing. It is the change from solid to liquid. It occurs when there is a presence of addition of heat. For example, if you remove the ice from the freezer, okay, it will melt. Same with the ice cream. Another example is the ice candy. Another one, if you try to put a chunk of butter on a hot cooking pan, what do you think will happen to the butter? Very good. It will melt. The third process is what we call evaporation. It is a process by which a liquid changes to gas. This happens when liquid material absorbs heat energy. Try to overboil water, just like in this picture. What do you think will happen? That's right, the water will disappear, an indication that it changes to gas. The gaseous form of water is referred to as water vapor. Another example is if you hang your wet clothes under the heat of the sun. The water on the wet clothes will evaporate and it will turn to gas. Number 4 process is what we call the condensation. It is the opposite of evaporation. So when we say condensation, it is turning gas to liquid. It occurs when heat removed from water vapor. For example, okay, in this picture, when this happens, water vapor becomes liquid water. This usually happens during early morning when we observe the morning dew falling from the leaves of plants. Because it is cold in the early morning, the water vapor released by the plants condenses and changes to liquid water, the one we call morning dew. Another example is observed is on an icy cold water glass. Okay, so the droplets of water on the glass are the indication that condensation happens between the water vapor and the cold temperature released by the icy cold water glass. Number 5 is sublimation. When we say sublimation, it is turning solid to gas. These are solid substances that are changed directly to gas without passing to liquid state. For example, are you familiar with this? That's right. Okay, you can see it inside your cabinet. These are naphthalene balls, or we also called as the mothballs. Okay, so these are common examples of materials that undergo sublimation. Okay, it is solid to gas. Okay, last process, we have the deposition. It is turning gas to solid. So gas can transform into solid without passing the liquid phase. Okay, so example here are the snow forms, okay, in clouds. As frost on the ground are some of its examples, just like in this picture. Okay, that's why we have snow. And so based on the different processes, okay, the increase or decrease of temperature may change material's physical appearance from one form to another. Another things to remember, okay, we have freezing point, the temperature at which the liquid will change back to solid. Melting point of ice is 0 degrees Celsius. Boiling point of water when turned to gas is 100 degrees Celsius. When we say condensation point, if the change is from gas to liquid as the temperature falls below it. Always remember this, kids. When doing some activities, what are some precautionary or safety measures that we need to observe in handling or using hot materials? That's right, we should use thermal gloves. Okay, so the purpose of the thermal gloves is for handling hot or cold objects. Another one, we can use tongs. Okay, so these are used to pick up hot objects. Okay, so this is our protection from getting burned. Alright? Let's find out if you really understood our lesson. Please get your pen and your notebook. Okay, identify the process that caused the materials to change. Identify whether it is freezing, melting, evaporation, condensation, sublimation, or deposition. I'll give you 1 minute to answer. You may now begin. Now, let's check your answers. Please be honest, okay? So for number 1, what is your answer? Correct, it is condensation. For number 2, melting. Number 3, evaporation. Number 4, that's right, it is freezing. How about number 5? Correct, it is sublimation. I do hope you got a perfect score. For your assignment, please bring any of the following materials for your performance task tomorrow, okay? So choose which group do you want. And then write down the materials you're going to bring. That's all for today, kids. Thank you, kids, for listening. See you again next time. Bye.